shall not be violated. The Bill of Rights doesn't give us any rights. We have them. We have them because we're born. And that's everybody. And that the right to bear arms doesn't come from a document or a piece of paper. It comes from the fact that every creature, every living thing has a right to protect its life. We have a right to protect ourselves from aggression and theft and violence. And the Second Amendment just protects the ultimate extension of that right. So it's important in that it protects a right, but it doesn't grant us the right. Now, in the Columbia versus Heller case a couple years ago, the Supreme Court verified that it does indeed protect an individual right to keep and bear arms, and that includes the purpose of self-defense. So all the hogwash about sporting purpose and you got to be in a militia, blah, 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 it's an individual right. It doesn't grant that right. It protects that right. If there wasn't a Second Amendment, each state, I think each state, has something in their constitution along the lines of every person has a right to keep and bear arms to defend himself and his state. They're all variations, but every state constitution has that too. And then roll that back. I am a human being. Therefore, I have the right to keep and bear arms. It doesn't get any simpler. It really doesn't.
It seems there's people who, and I don't particularly know why, they seem so adamant about that this is not, basically they're adamant about getting rid of guns. And I don't understand why. Do you guys have any explanation as to what their motivations are?
I'm not going to really answer that, but I'm always baffled at the people that always don't want something, why they enforce something that they don't want on people that want something. Why we don't enforce the rule that the people that don't want guns to have guns. We don't tell them if you want a gun, if we want guns, then you should have them too. But they seem to want to enforce us that because we want guns that we can't have them. Why is it always that way? That angers me to the point where it seems like it's almost a moot point that if you don't like something, then you can make it disappear. And I feel that, as individuals, we have the right to have whatever we want to have, and if we have a gun, then it's our right to have it, and it's no one else's right to tell us that we can't have it. If they don't want one, then they shouldn't have one. But I don't know if I've answered that question or kind of made a point, but I'll let Lee take over.
People that don't like guns, that don't want guns, understand that gun ownership says, I am responsible for myself. I will protect myself. I will protect my family. People that don't want to own guns, people that don't like guns, don't want that responsibility of protecting their own lives. They don't want to, because that's a responsibility. That's a big deal. It's a big deal to own a gun, to say, if you come across my doorway with harmful intent, of course the police will be called, but the first thing that we'll deal with will be me. So people that don't want to own a gun are afraid of being responsible for their own lives, and you know what? Next to someone who owns a gun, next to a self-reliant, free-thinking individual, they feel pitiful, they feel valueless, and you know what? And they should, but they don't want to be alone in their sad little helpless sheep-like world. They want to drag us all down. They're ashamed. They're ashamed that they're not responsible for their own well-being, and they can't stand the fact that there are those of us who are.
I think it's a have and have not society. I think we deal with this a lot in our society, whether it's people who are heterosexual don't want gay marriages, gays want gay marriages. People that are vegetarians don't want people eating high-fat foods and animal products, and there's the don't eat this, eat this, and we fight about that. There's the I want to have a gun, I don't want you to have a gun. I think we need to come to some sort of consensus here where our individual opinion over something isn't overruled with someone else not wanting something. I think that needs to stop in our society. I think if that comes to some kind of a closure here where the ones that don't want people to have something kind of stop demanding, then things would be better.
As an example, I'm not a big fan of a lot of rap music, but I will oppose attempts to ban it. Just because I don't like something, I would not. There's a lot of rap music I do not like, and yet I would oppose attempts to ban it.
It's the same thing with everything. If you don't like something, then you don't have to do it. You don't have to listen to it. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to participate in it.
I agree. It's a very rational opinion.